Welcome to Little Shits and Giggles, the podcast where we talk shit about our little shits. I'm Mama Chaos.
And I am Jason Quinn.
How you doing today, Jason?
Doing absolutely fantastic. Trying out
Nice.
something new today. We're actually both live on TikTok together right now. So if you're hearing this for the first time and weren't a part of this cool live that we're doing, make sure you're following both of us and staying up to date on any other lives that we might do for this show in the future. Might be able to hear it before it's recorded, before it's released. Exclusive stuff. You can find me on TikTok at Mr. Jason Quinn, and
I am Mama.Chaos.
Absolutely.
Mama.Chaos. All right, so let's get this shit on the roll. I have some emails that I have already set up. I want to go ahead and start with the first one because the shit's crazy. All right. At least I think. I don't know. I sent them to my husband, so I got to find the first one now. Hold on. So this person found one of my videos, and it says, so I hear you about your child and the yogurt. You remember the yogurt story? I do. I will never forget that. So she has a 5-year-old who decided that she wasn't going to wake mommy up at 7:30 in the morning. She was going to make coffee for mommy instead and make her own breakfast of frozen waffles and yogurt. But she realized that she can't open the yogurt. So what does she do? She smashes it against the counter until it explodes into my coffee. It was all over the counter because I have one coffee maker. She didn't put the coffee cup there. Nope. She just started the coffee pot and decided to hide the waffle in her room and not bother to heat them up. So when I woke up, my whole kitchen was a mess. And she said that at least I let you sleep. At least you let me sleep. 3 paper towel rolls later and my whole fucking mindset gone. We go to rest in our different rooms and it got quiet. I walk in and what do you know? She tried to open a juice pouch by herself and it's all over the place. And she was eating the frozen waffles, looking at me like she has no idea why I'm losing my mind. It was such a good morning.
Oh man, I cannot. I want to say that I can't imagine, but I can imagine. I know what that kind of fucking situation feels like. Like I know what it
Right?
feels like to wake up to a mess that you were like not aware that you had, any of that going on. That
Yeah. I see. So the worst one I have, so I have a story that kind of relates to that. And I might have talked about it on here before. I know I made a video about it once or twice. But my husband, whenever he decided to propose to me, actually, it wasn't even a decision. Like I pretty much forced him to propose because I found the wedding ring. Anyways, I found it right in front of him too. So
oh
that
damn.
was fun. Yeah. So anyways, he gets down on his knee. He proposes. I say yes. We walk out into the living room where my oldest child now, who was only a baby at the time, was in the living room. She was watching her little videos and stuff on TV, and she had a bottle of puffs, like the baby puffs,
Uh-huh.
and she got a hold of it. And Adam just got done telling me that his plan was to have like a room of rose petals, but instead we walked out into a room full of puffs, and I couldn't help but start laughing my ass off at that.
That is funny. That's like the parenting romance right
Right? And like the worst part about it is that the puffs wasn't even like the worst part of the mess that was there. Like she also had like the litter box strewn, like the contents inside the litter box all over the kitchen. Like the drawers in the kitchen were all open. Like it was a little bit of time in that bedroom, like I should say. Like he was proposing. All right, give me
Right.
some
Hey.
space. But
Right.
yeah, so the litter box all over the place, the drawers in the kitchen's open, like shit's out of the refrigerator. It was a mess, to say the least.
Yeah. I can think of a time that story reminded me of particularly one time my kids decided that they were going to make themselves cereal for breakfast, right? And since they were going to make themselves cereal for breakfast, they got up and I had just bought a bunch of new cereal. Like the day before, I bought like I don't mean to flex, but like 8 boxes of cereal. Now I had like 4 kids, but whatever. So they all wanted all of the cereals open. So in the middle of the floor, my living room floor, all they had dumped all of them into one pile of cereal and were just eating from it like little rabid dogs. Like I had 3 kids at the time. I had 3 kids at the time. And yeah, they were eating from this just giant pile of mixed cereal like rabid dogs. I lost my whole shit at that point. I had no idea
No.
how to handle that.
Like, I don't understand how kids get cereal so easily, especially my kids. Like, I have the cereal up like high. I feel like everybody has their boxes of cereal either up
Right.
on top of the refrigerator, on like the
Right.
top shelf in the pantry, whatever. It's up high, but somehow these kids find it like they're bloodhounds, and then they get to it, and they're messy. They waste an entire box of cereal in one morning because not all of it got into the bowl.
Oh yeah, for sure. Not even a chance that all of it gets into the bowl. It's oh I I'm thankful that I haven't had knock on this is I need to find some wood, but I haven't had like a crazy situation like that in a hot minute with a big mess. Now I did wake up the other day to finding out that my kid was awake and he broke a PlayStation.
That's not good.
Yeah. So and it wasn't my PlayStation. I borrowed this PS4 because I needed a PlayStation 4. Whatever. Not going into details, but I needed a PS4, so I borrowed it from somebody, and my kid broke it. And yeah, yeah. So
I mean, I'm a 90s kid. My dad got a brand new VCR
oh,
or a
nice,
VHS player,
super nice.
and he or I fed it a peanut butter sandwich.
It was hungry.
Well, it was okay. Like,
The
don't
flaps.
make
That's to be fair. To be fair to us '90s kids, because no other generation really had to deal with this, but like our generation, because we grew up as kids with VCRs, right? Other
right.
people didn't. So whatever. But that little flap, the little flap on the VHS player, the little VCR flap, that begs to be fed peanut butter sandwiches in your defense.
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
just saying.
so you know what I'm noticing
Hmm.
here is that there's like a little bit of like a delay between the live and what's going on live, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does.
Okay, so like if you see me like waiting a second before I respond, it's so that I'm not overlapping on the live and people can actually understand what's going on. Because I was all over the place, I guess, and then I had to turn off the Wi-Fi because I didn't realize I was using it so much. So
Got you.
yeah,
Got you.
sorry about everybody on the live. But let's go ahead and move on to the second email because I think this one's going to be good too. All right, so these emails are always anonymous. So I'm not going to say who it's from. It says, one day I needed to go to the doctor, and at the time of my appointment, all the kids were already back from school, so I needed to take them with me. Oh, damn, that sucks. All hell was already breaking loose at home, so I knew how it was going to be at the doctor's office. I already predicted that they were all raising hell in the car as well, or I already predicted that they would be raising hell in the car. They were. After parking the car with them screaming in the back seat, I stepped out, wanting to open the back seat or back door, not realizing I apparently forgot to put the emergency brake on. And right at the moment when I touched the handle of the door, the car came rolling back onto my foot. It rolled over it, not just rolled over it, but it stayed there. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, in the weight of my 3 months monsters still sitting in the back, bouncing around was making it worse. And guess what these mother effers were doing? They were laughing at me. They were laughing their asses off.
Oh my god, dude.
How would you, first of all, a whole ass car on your foot, just sitting there, and your kids are in there like, yeah, mommy, woohoo, bouncing all over the place, that thing's rocking back and forth. That's got to be painful. I mean, obviously it's painful, but like not only painful, but aggravating at the same time. Like, which one of you mother effers is going to help me right now?
Oh yeah, I'd be freaking out. I did it say? I don't know if I remember. Maybe I missed it. Did it say how old the kids were
It
in the
did not.
back? Because like I gotta like I in the scenario I gotta put myself in it, right? So I've got 6 kids in this scenario, so it'd be more in the car jumping around. But like if one of my like if my 9, 10 year olds jumping around in the back seat, you know what I mean? And he's like laughing at me. Like it's one thing if it's like a 2 year old, a 4 year old who doesn't like fully grasp what's going on, you know what I mean? But like one of my older kids does that, I might lose my shit. Like I don't know. Like I think honestly, I'd have to be on the phone calling somebody like, look, I'm gonna need somebody else to be here to be the parent because I can't be the parent right now. Like somebody else has got to step on up and parent these kids for a couple of hot minutes because today that is not me.
I mean, at least she was in the doctor's office parking lot. So, like, if she broke a bone, she was right there. She didn't have to go very far to see a doctor.
I mean, at least right. I mean, positives. You know what I mean? But like, still, oh
One
my
of the
god,
one of the commenters on TikTok just said that her mom ran her foot over when she was 9.
I'm gonna assume that that was an unintentional situation.
I would hope so. But I did tell you that I dated a guy that hit me with his car. Remember?
I do. I remember that because you were like, yeah, and then like we dated for 4 years. He hit me with his car, and you said it like so nonchalantly the first time you said it, like it was just like a normal thing that everybody, I dated the guy. He hit me with his car. We dated for like 4 years, and then I was like, hold up.
But he hit me with the car like at the end of our relationship. That was kind of the last straw for me, which I don't understand because like before that, 2 years prior, we were at a restaurant and he told the waitress right in front of me that I was his sister and was asking her out on a date, and she accepted after I told her that I was not his sister.
That's a big L on her part too. I mean, not
Right?
saying it's a big L on his part too. I mean,
I mean,
obviously, but like that's a big L on her part.
it's a big L on my part. I stayed with him for 2 years after that. And the worst part is I showed up to their date because they did not cancel it. They showed up to this. It was the 4th of July. It was a rodeo because it's West Virginia. Um, I showed up at this rodeo and there they are. And I went there full intention of kicking this girl's ass. But I saw how shitty this guy was treating her. And I was like, she's got enough. And I just sat back and I watched and I just let it all happen. And at one point, she tripped and fell and twisted her ankle and he didn't even help her up. And I was like, bitch. I was like, you got what you deserved.
Terrified looks from everyone in the room. Oh my god, dude. I am so weak. Like I don't even I
I
don't
mean,
you know
it's a
what?
story. It's a
It is.
story.
It happens. It's in the past. You know what I mean? We've moved on from those days. We are no
The past.
longer you're no longer the girl that stands at rodeos cheering on people twisting their ankles. You know what I mean? You've moved on. That's growth, motherfuckers. If y'all don't understand, can we get some
Photosynthesis.
love in the chat for the growth? Oh my god.
Listen, I don't know, like I would probably smack the shit out of my own kids if they dated a guy 2 years after that happened.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm surprised my dad didn't kick the crap out of me because I told him that I was going to go to this rodeo to beat this girl's ass and he's like, "You go, baby."
you,
You know.
you get on up there. You go beat her ass.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, my dad fully supported me getting into every fight that I ever got into. Like, I once it was for my 21st birthday, I went to a male strip club in New York City, and I tried to fight 4 different people on a subway for no reason. Like, they just looked at me sideways, and I was like, "You wanna go, bro?" And, like, I was embarrassing the hell out of my mom. My mom was crying, like
Your mom was there. Your mom's she's just, I just picture her in like a subway car, like she's leaned up against the side and she's like hiding her face, crying. She's just breaking down, like, I can't do it. What?
I mean, you literally portrayed her perfectly. I'm not gonna lie. It it was very traumatic for her, okay? And it was traumatic for me apparently because I was shit-faced drunk, and I still remember every detail of that night. Like, first of all, going to a male strip club, I don't recommend it, okay? Like, it's not like Magic Mike. It's very uncomfortable. People, like,
Yeah.
get very up close to you, and you're like, "No," 'cause I had a boyfriend at the time. I didn't know that I was pregnant at this point, but I was. And so I'm at this male strip club. This guy that I didn't find physically attractive was on me like white on rice because I had the birthday sash on and everything. And he was
Oh,
dripping
right.
sweat onto
Oh,
me and it was nasty. And here's the thing about me is if I don't know you like intimately, I have a fear of like touching your skin if it's not shaking hands. I don't want to touch any part of your body. And the fact that his belly was on me and he had jeans on, so it's not like, we had like any crotch action or nothing. But it was so uncomfortable. And the fact that he was dripping the sweat onto me, I couldn't do it. It was a strange man, a strange, very unattractive man, being very sexy like in a very unsexy way.
I feel like there's a strong difference between like the male and female strip clubs in the way that like female strip clubs, it's very much like hands off. You stay over there. You know what I mean? Like I'll
Oh, I
be
don't
over
agree with
here.
that. I
I'll
don't
be
agree
over
with that at
here.
all.
You be over there on the stage. Like I'm just saying, like for the just the general show part of it. Like that women, you're
Have
not
you ever
getting
been
up and
whipped?
I haven't have I ever been whipped?
So the strip clubs here, I've been to a few strip clubs, male, not male here, but female strip clubs here. And like every time, like they'll bring somebody up on the stage and like if it's their birthday or something, they'll get whippings and they'll bring out like an actual whip and like
Oh yeah.
and whip your ass on stage, like with your pants down and shit.
Yeah,
Like
bet
they
I
did it
don't.
to
I
Adam, they did it to me.
I
Like,
bet I don't. I bet I don't.
yeah, no, and then, like, they'll hand out bottles of oil to just, like, pour on them so that you can just rub them however you want while they're on the stage. It's
West
very
Virginia
uncomfortable.
is way different.
Yeah, but you know what? It sounds great. It sounds like a perk, okay? But it's West Virginia. These
Yeah.
girls look like we are like I I don't find myself very attractive, okay? Especially with, like, the crackhead teeth and shit. My kid is awake. My kid is awake outside of my door crying.
All right. Well, you know what? That's the real part of the podcast. We'll just cut back in whenever it goes on and I'll just
I don't think she's going back to sleep.
you
Adam's here. He can do it until the
bro, I'm telling you, first off, Adam's coming in clutch all day today.
yeah.
All day. This is we're very team Adam. All right. So
I mean, I'm always team Adam, especially at night.
I mean,
I said that. All right. You
you
want to
know what?
move on?
We're keeping that in the episode. That's not just staying in the live.
It'll definitely go on the episode. Adam's going to hold it or download it and just play it. That's going to be my ringtone.
Oh, for sure
Always
that's
team
your
Adam.
ringtone,
I'm always team Adam. All right.
especially at night. Here, let me I'll do it real sensual like, and then maybe he can use mine. I'm always team Adam, especially at night. All right.
Ah.
There's the clip for you, buddy. There you go.
If our
Um,
video, if our live is lagging, I apologize to everybody. I don't know what the problem is. It's me. I'm the problem. Hi. I don't know the words.
yeah, it's
Hi,
me.
it's me.
Me. I'm the
I am the
problem. It's
problem.
me.
Wait, that don't make any sense. I don't know. It's Taylor Swift. She don't make no sense. All right.
Whoa, hey, whoa, hold on.
I
We're
mean,
just kidding, Swifties. We are
no,
just kidding.
he might be. I'm not. All
Yeah,
right.
that is
I
not
mean,
that is not the army we are taking on. All right.
I'm not saying that I don't like her music, all right? Because I find myself bebopping along to her stuff all of the time. But the fact that I like her makes me angry every time. Every time I find myself dancing to one of her songs, I slap myself a little bit.
Listen, T Swizzy be on the beats. T Swizzy on the beats.
T Swizzy be on that devil shit, all right? Like she's
Look,
all right.
I don't know. Okay, back to the little shits and giggles.
Yeah, that's a lot of shit. All right. I'm gonna go on to this next email here because I feel like it's about time. So we have been currently potty training our 3.5-year-old. And what happened was we were trying to get her to use her little potty chair. And she thought she was going to take all of her clothes off to use it. And when she was done, I would just wipe her ass. But she ran away and she made me start running all over the house while she was naked and poop all over her butt. Then, when my husband got home, his hands were full of groceries, and she took that opportunity to run out of the house, butt naked, poop all over her ass, and we chased her down. I don't know how far they had to chase her down, but they had to chase her down, and that was an interesting morning to say the least.
Just
So,
imagine the baby's like super fast, like just like you know what I mean, like the baby's like way fast, and the parents are
babies are
just
always
behind him, just like trucking along, like trying to catch this baby, and then it's just like just fucking little baby ass with just shit smeared down the legs, like running down the legs, little drops of poop coming off. Matter of fact, this reminds me of a time when I was very proud of myself. This is a story that I've heard about me because I don't remember this firsthand, but I've heard this several times. So when I was little, I was very proud of me for pooping in the toilet. And I got up and then I went to go tell my mom that I pooped in the potty. And then I said, Mom, I pooped in the potty and I found a chocolate chip on the floor. Right? Boom. I didn't touch the chocolate chip. I left it there for my mom to see, but she would never believe it. Guess what? It was shit on the floor. 100%.
oh, okay. That was a bullet dodged there. Or both you and your mom, honestly.
True story. True story. That would have been a that would have been a bad. Like this is a really shitty chocolate chip.
Listen, I was like maybe 3 years old and we went to the beach and I embarrassed the heck out of my dad and my mom and my entire family. Okay. I have a big family and we were all at the beach and I was about 3 years old and I had to poop. I was potty training. And okay, I was potty training and I didn't have a diaper on and I didn't tell anybody that I had to use the bathroom. I just went over and I dug a hole in the sand and I pooped in it and then I covered it back up with the sand. And then I just went up to my dad and I started meowing like a cat.
Well, I mean, all of that checks out. As far as cat-like behavior goes. Um, they're I don't even know if I'd be I don't know I don't know how I would react to that. You know what I mean? Like because you're like kind of like you're like mad, but you're also at the same time you're like I'm not about to go try to dig up the shit. You know what I mean? Like it's there. Like the shit is just a part of the sand now. Like somebody else is gonna deal with that.
Yeah, can you imagine like the next family that comes into that spot and like they're digging a hole to put their like beach umbrella in and after they're done they take out the beach umbrella and they're like the f- is all
What
over
the
our
fuck is all
umbrella.
over our region? Imagine, imagine it's like I have to imagine though, because if you're pooping in the sand, you're covered in sand. So you've got
Yeah.
shit and sand caked on your ass. And sand is the worst thing to clean off. So shit covered sand has got to be the worst. That's got to be one of the worst diaper changes of all time.
I mean, I wasn't even in a diaper. I just washed myself off in the ocean with my dad there because my dad was like, I'm not taking responsibility for this.
Bro,
And
dad move.
I'm not
That's a
going to
pro dad
go.
move. That's
Yeah,
pro dad
he's
move.
like, I'm not going to take responsibility for this. I am not going to go for this mile walk with a shit covered toddler. I'm just going to go in the ocean and let the sharks deal with it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what he did.
That's a not my zoo, not my monkeys type of situation. And exactly the way that's the move.
Yeah.
That's a
I mean,
bravo
I
dad move.
don't blame him. I don't blame him one bit.
No, not at all.
And I'm going to go ahead and say that I did have a fourth email, but I don't anymore since my kid woke up and Adam took his phone.
Hey,
I don't have it.
you know, that happens.
We'll
It
get you
be
next
like
week.
that. It be like that sometimes.
But I tell you what, I don't remember everything about it, but it was having to do with like a kid with ADHD and like having to deal with that. And
I have ADHD and a kid with ADHD. So
I do too. I'm pretty sure I have all three of my kids have ADHD because me and my husband also have ADHD. So it's very fun. It's very chaotic. It's very aggravating at times, but there's a lot of love here. There's just a lot of foul mouthed love, to be honest with you.
you know you
Like
got to a little bit.
I fucking love you. I love the shit out of you. That's just how we talk.
My oldest daughter, with her, it's weird. You have like different ways. You have different ways that you no idea what the fuck they're talking about. Anyway,
Freaking me out.
I saw a light in the vent.
So if you see this podcast on YouTube, there's a vent up behind me. Okay, but it's not here. So there's a vent over there on your side, maybe. Do you have a vent on camera?
Oh, we
Oh
do
no,
have the
my vent is on this. I
yeah, we
forgot.
have the vent on we have the vent on the live, but we don't have it on the camera on YouTube. So it's just
Yeah, so somebody is seeing a light in that vent up there. That's freaking me out. You saw it too? Okay. I'm not listen,
okay.
I already believe that like this house, especially this room, is haunted because I see shit and I hear shit all of the time. I just don't want to I
Well,
don't want to see orbs.
when you saw it back, when you bring it back, you can bring back the live, but it'll save this recording,
Oh yeah.
and so we can bring it back and we can look it up.
I'm gonna
Put it
have
on
to
the
go.
thing.
I'm gonna have to do that then.
Always with the freaky shit. You know what's my daughter told me the other day, and I was like, just not the other day, yesterday. She said this, or maybe this morning. I don't know. She's like, Dad, when I turn 18, I'm gonna get a Ouija board. I'm gonna go to a cemetery and conjure spirits. And I'm like, the fuck you are. Like, under no yeah, no. Under
I've
yeah,
done
and
it.
she's not hanging out with you. Okay. And that's what
I mean, I don't do it anymore. My husband won't even allow me to own a Ouija board now. But
that's because, and again, Team Adam.
Team Adam. But I did go to a cemetery. I did. And the crazy thing is, I was only like 16, 17 at the time. And it did tell me that I was going to have three children. And I was like, no, I'm not. I'm never having kids. So I just threw it to the side. And it never came back up until me and my friend, after the fact of me having three kids, she was like, do you remember that time? And I was like, oh, no way. It told me about the kids. It told me about Adam. And I was like, I don't even know a name that starts with the letter A for a man, even though I knew the word Adam. But in my head, I was like, no, there's no A's.
They don't
There's
make
no men
they don't
with
make
A.
A names.
Like, what the heck? But then we came home and our electric went out and we're still using the Ouija board and we had a candle lit and then like we asked it a question and the candle flame got like that high and it terrified me after that. So we put it away. We said our goodbyes. We put it away and
I
we
don't
didn't
claim
really
none
talk
of
about
this
that.
energy. I don't claim none of that.
I'm all about the spooky stuff. All right.
Look, I like to hear about it. You know what I'm saying? I like to watch videos about it, but I like it to stay where it's at. Okay.
Yeah.
I
I
like
like
that.
I've never experienced one that was like extreme before. And I feel like I'm going to keep going at it until I find the extreme one because I'm not scared. Like I'm more intrigued by it. And until I get scared and have a reason to be scared, I won't be scared.
Oh, ain't no way. Nope. You know, it's not that I'm like I'm not afraid of ghosts and ghouls and all of those things and spirits. I have so much respect for it that I'm like, nope. I I
Adam's the same way. He'll take me to the tunnel. We have a haunted tunnel about 20 minutes away. And he'll take me there sometimes, but then we try to go there on Halloween and he chickened out like right as we were getting ready to get out of the car. He's like, I don't want to do this. And I was like, all right, just take me dumpster diving. So he did. But that was the only time he's really ever chickened out. But we've definitely went there and had like voices and stuff that we've recorded and
to be fair, I really encouraged the chickening out that night as well. I was like, you guys do not need to do this at all. And you're like, yeah, we should definitely do it. I'm like, fucking don't do that. And you're like, nah.
I mean,
And
I
you
could
got scared. What do you got? You damn near pissed yourself that same night because you saw a Gatorade bottle over your
oh yeah,
shoulder.
that did
Like,
happen.
damn near pissed. You're like, oh shit, Gatorade.
It just appeared out of nowhere, okay? Like, I don't know what happened. A ghost put it there. All right. Like it just showed up. I didn't invite it, okay? It was in my house uninvited. It was a predator at that point, okay? My response was perfect for that moment. It wasn't there, and then it was there.
Well, I gotta
Okay?
say,
You can't
I
beat
gotta
me up on
say, I don't know if that's the perfect response to a predator. If your response to a predator is, oh shit, you're kind of screwed. Okay. I gotta say,
I
it's
mean,
not looking good for you.
you gotta scream before you realize what's going on, and then you start throwing punches. Like you, ah, ta 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 ta. You don't like ah.
Right.
That's not like the progression of things. You scream and then you react, not react and then scream.
I
Unless
mean,
you're Jackie Chan.
fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Okay. You know what? The sound logic of that. I don't know how to argue against Jackie Chan.
you can't. Like even if you tried, you couldn't understand him. You lose either way. I love Jackie Chan, but you get him on a rant, you can't understand shit. All right.
Mm, it's tough sometimes. I will say that he is a beast though.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't double
Speaking
cross.
of random things, you know what? I'm taking this opportunity here. I'm stealing it. Whatever. Speaking of Jackie Chan, I have a movie related podcast where we have not talked about a Jackie Chan movie yet, but we should. I'll make that happen. I'm gonna make a Jackie Chan.
Rush
We're
hour.
we're 10 hours, we're 10 episodes deep in there. So it's like don't you know what I mean? Like don't go too crazy on me. All right. I love Jackie Chan. I'm not saying nothing against, but you can come watch that or listen to that podcast, Roll Film. It's another Like Minds podcast. Like Minds, again, is me and Miranda. We are Like Minds together. That is little our little name, our little group thing, right? And this is the Little Shits and Giggles podcast. And we are currently on live. So if you want to be a part of those TikTok lives, you can follow me on TikTok at Mr. Jason Quinn. You can follow Miranda at mama.chaos. Make sure that you are subscribing to our podcast on every single platform that you can possibly subscribe to a podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening to this. And the same goes for you people in the chat as well. Make sure you're subscribed. You can also see us on YouTube if you want to see the video version of this and see kind of what people saw on live. It's a little bit closer to that version of it if you weren't able to tune in. Make sure you also like us on Facebook and join our Little Shits and Giggles Facebook group. We need to get some more people in there so we can really start this community going so that we can build this village that all of us parents need.
Exactly. And if you have stories that you want to share with us and the other listeners of this podcast to be more relatable, make sure that you're not losing your mind or you're not the only one dealing with this shit. Or and if you want to spread the word that parenting isn't easy, you can go ahead and send those stories to likemindsdm@gmail.com. That's D as in dipshit's gonna talk shit, and M as in Mama Chaos is fucking awesome. All right.
Hey, I think, you know what? I agree. I agree with the last statement there. And I think everybody listening to this show and on our live will also agree. Mama Chaos is fucking awesome. Make sure again you tune in next week for another exciting episode of Little Shits and Giggles.
The podcast where we talk shit about our little shits.
See you next week, guys.
Adios.
All right. That's a wrap on the episode. That was fun.